Okay. Hi, everyone. Second time's a charm. I always have tech issues. Like, I don't know why it's always me. It's like so not fair. Okay. There he is. Hey, babe. Okay, I need to oh, shoot. Can you request? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Hopefully this is good. It made me
Hey, babe.
restart, so hi.
Thanks again for
Hello.
letting me do this. This is great.
No, totally. Sorry, everyone. We were like 35 minutes late.
Sorry. I had my own live to do, and yeah, it's been busy, so I apologize.
No worries. Well, it actually didn't even let me in the first time. So it said that there was issues going live. So this is the second time, but it says that it's still letting people know that we're going live. But anyway, so
hmm
welcome. Anyone tuning in, or if you're catching the replay, I hope everyone's doing safe and well during these times. Anyway, so I am back here in Denver. I made it back to the States, like a crazy flight getting back here. But I'm live here in Denver, Colorado right now, and I'm live here with my man Carlton, all the way from Newcastle. Just want to thank you again for joining me for another one of these boss interviews. The last time Carlton joined me was when I called it the High Achieving Hustler series. So had a bit of a name change since then, but I'm just super excited about bringing on so many of these amazing individuals just to provide as much value and wisdom as we can for all of you young professionals and young entrepreneurs out there. So I'm super excited about today's guest, not only because he's my inspiring boyfriend, but also because I know that he's going to drop a lot of value for you all. And I know that this has been a much requested topic. Like, you guys should talk about like the laptop lifestyle. So I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to give you like all the real tea about what it's really like, because everyone thinks it's super glamorous, but it's not.
Yeah,
So a
and I've
little
got
bit
my
about
tea, so it works out.
I didn't realize that was a British phrase until somebody called me out on it, and I was like, super British. I'm like, oh, my bad.
No, it's fine.
All good. So anyways, about Carlton, obviously he's my inspiring boyfriend, but he's also a musician, a law graduate, and an entrepreneur from the Durham area in the UK. So Carlton is also a professional musician, playing over 15 years, collaborating with bands and DJs across the UK. He's super passionate about creating a platform to serve and celebrate this and showcase the success of drummers and musicians. So Carlton launched Collision Drumsticks, an online e-commerce drumstick store that is now the UK and Europe's largest drumstick brand. And he's recently launched Collision Backstage under the Collision brand, which offers mentorship and support to those musicians looking to develop their personal brand and transition from hobbyist, from part-time to full-time musician. So thank you so much for being here on this Q&A today.
No
I know
problem,
I'm
babe.
so nervous.
Chill out. No, thanks. I feel like an OG because like I was here like at the start, you know. So I've seen so many of these happen now at this point. It's just great, and what you're doing for the community, and it's really helped me. And yeah, huge thank you on behalf of everyone because these really do help.
Thanks.
No, awesome. So
So as we dive in, can you first tell us briefly about your journey and how you got started? Like, how did you go from full-time law school to becoming an entrepreneur, for those that don't know who you are?
so bit of context. Yeah, it's a great question. Before that, I've been in band since probably like the age of 7, 8 years old. So music's always been a part of my life one way or another. And when I ended up sort of going throughout my, hi Zach, good to see you, one of our artists. So for me, music's always been a major passion in my life, something that's always motivated me. So along with my education, just trying to keep it as two separate things. And once I got to sort of college age, so yeah, about sort of 17, 18, that was really where I sort of shifting, the motivation and the passion really to start serving not only myself but others through community. I had a great opportunity to become one of the first UK artists from Collision at the time. Was originally an Australian-owned company, so I worked very closely with the team whilst it was based over in Oz, before eventually acquiring the business myself a few years ago. And that was whilst I was at law school. So there was a lot on my plate at that point. Tried to make, the best of what I could, scaling my brand, scaling myself, my mindset, and really motivating me more and more to pursue Collision full time. Decided, to dive in right after law school, after graduating. So I got the degree and started running with it. And here we are today. So it's been a couple of years now. And, we're really, really pushing, really motivated by, the community, the people that we're serving, and just looking to carve, a more greater path for us, our brand, and getting that market share as well. So it's been a great team effort. Yourself included, having you involved in that on a consultancy basis as my rock as well. There has just been so helpful and inspiring as well. So I couldn't do it without you.
Thank you. So can you talk briefly about this whole idea of the laptop lifestyle? So I'm really excited to dive into this a little bit more, because I guess, like, what would be your definition of success? Let's start there.
I would say a definition of the laptop lifestyle.
Definition of success.
Oh, definition of success. Being able to fulfill the goals and desires you have without a worry, I would say, in my eyes. So whether that's financial, whether that's spiritual, whether that's emotional, or at least be, having a balance of that. And that's how I really define success for myself personally. And I think it's something we're all working towards, when we're all walking works of progress. So I certainly feel that way. So it's something I'm always striving to, is to be successful. But I guess it depends. In my eyes, that's how I perceive it. From others looking at me, I guess I have a different definition. It would be, I think to others, I think it's definitely a monetary term. I think people define, and I don't know why, and I think it's a shame, but people define success through net worth. People define success through what you have, rather than what's up here or what's coming out here. And
you have.
Yeah. That's my 10 cents on that. What about you?
Just putting it back on me.
Yeah, why
this
not?
interview is about you.
All right, fine. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So can you talk a little bit about this whole idea of the laptop lifestyle? I kind of want you to kind of debunk this myth. Like, everyone thinks it's this great and glamorous thing, but it's really not.
Yeah, if you want to get into the laptop lifestyle for those reasons, guys, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're doubling down. You're doing probably twice, 3 times as much work as what you would be a regular 9 to 5. And with the 9 to 5, you could put it down, you can leave it at the end of the day. In a lot of occasions, I know there are times where you take work home with you, but when you're in that laptop lifestyle, those are the realities of it. You will be taking work home with you, because you are at home, you are commuting, you are traveling, you are going somewhere at some point. And for me, it is, it's definitely a myth, this idea and ideal of, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to find my way with it. And, and there's exciting things to look forward to. There's new opportunities that I wouldn't have if I did have a regular 9 to 5, and similarly, the securities alongside a regular 9 to 5 as well. So, there's definitely pros and cons for both, but certainly, by no stretch of the imagination is it just, sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping the Long Island iced teas, rolling back and watching the waves go by. It's not. It's not. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a brand, and it takes that community to build the brand. And it's a lot of client management. It's a lot of relationship building, a lot of customer service support, research, R&D. Imagine your workplace. You're going to be wearing all the hats of that workplace, whereas if you worked a 9 to 5, you'd be responsible for a department. But in no way do I want to put anyone off. This is not about that. This is about, this series is all about inspiring you guys to take the options and opportunities around you to really pursue that. And it certainly has a lot of pros that go along with it.
What do you feel like is the biggest mistake that, people that are diving into entrepreneurship for the first time, what's the biggest mistake that you think they make?
Overfunding, I would say, is the biggest one in my eyes. Like, going in straight away with the intention to either sell something or leave, or try and get some kind of funding, whatever that looks like, whether it's sort of doing some kind of rounds of VC funding or just friends and family, things like that. I think there's a lot that we can do sweat equity that we don't really think we can when we put our minds to it. I feel like that's the biggest resource we have, is our time, our effort, and passion. You are not going to be more, you are the most passionate person and soul of your creation, of your development, of your concept. When it comes to relying on others and things like that, there will be that level of trust, that level of support that you will have to devolve to them. But ultimately, you see and you push your project and the innovations that go with it more so than anyone else. That's for me how I perceive it. So, and I know it's all about culture and bringing in people to share that vision with you, but ultimately you have to be the driving force behind that. So I definitely think that, overfunding and trying to go for some kind of fast track, I think that is, we're searching for something that just isn't there. It takes sweat equity, it takes time, it takes effort, and we have to be open to putting the work in, because I think we'll be chasing an unattainable ideal otherwise.
Yeah, no, that speaks volumes. I'm so glad that you touched on that too, because I feel like too oftentimes like people go in thinking that like, oh, they can just like release a product or service and they're just like,
Yeah.
people are just going to buy from me. But at this point, you've already invested like a ton of money into like your branding, your website, all these things that you don't quite necessarily need to do, or staff or team, right? Yeah, exactly right. You can start, building this out first before you start looking at some of those things. So
Totally.
on that note, when do you think is the right time to like start investing, like, more into like your business?
Um, in regards of what, like external investing, or you personally investing more into, you mean from a monetary standpoint?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess like,
Yeah,
when you said that, like, before, like, taking on like more team members and like really like taking on more investments, like when do you think is a good
yeah.
time
I
to start like
I
taking the
think
big swings?
I think have faith in yourself, because I think there comes a point where you realize that what starts as a solo entrepreneur route and going the independent route, maybe, or if you're in a partnership, two of you, starting that off. I think eventually there comes a point where you go, we're going to need a helping hand. We are scaling, we are growing, and I think naturally it forms within different parts of the journey and relationship you have with your business. I think it's really unique. It's hard to say a particular time or date, whether it's 6 months in, 12 months in. People always try and like put a staple on it and statement it. But for me, it's when you feel the time is ultimately right, when you feel like you've exhausted the options, the opportunities around you, that the resources that you've got available to you, and you need to seek out. And you can seek out things like mentors. You can seek out individuals who might provide, a different perspective without having to draw them into what you're doing. You can, there's plenty of resources out there. There's different organizations. I know you're a part of some as well. And maybe even invest in a coach and a mentor to be able to help support you through your journey and help you create these building blocks and establish what's working right and what needs some support there. I think that's really important. And that's sort of the advice that, over the past few years and building this brand has certainly been for me takeaways.
I think that's great feedback. I know we could just talk about like a million different things here. I'm trying to like
There's
keep
so
us
many
like on the
segues.
same, the right
Yeah.
tangent.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to this topic of the laptop lifestyle, right? So for a lot of like young professionals right now that do have social media and they see people like making a ton of money like online, or they assume that people are making money online, like, becoming influencers for like, fit tea or yoga pants or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like, debunking those myths about, having that laptop lifestyle? I know you
So
shared a little bit
yeah,
before.
I mean, just coming back to it, it literally is. Yeah, I mean, so many of us, like when when we get into it, we imagine, oh, the end goal is literally to be, an exit with, like I said, sipping the Long Island iced teas on a beach somewhere, and for me, it's like it's not about that. I just think establish the why, the reasons why you get into what you do. What is your origin story? What is the reason why you started the venture in the first place? For me, it was about creating partnerships. For me, it was about developing the community and supporting the community in a positive way. So that for me was the biggest motivation, rather than anything fiscally, financially. The ultimate goal to me is to serve and to support others and to build the vision and sharing that vision and that success as well. So I think, yeah, the biggest thing of all is this laptop lifestyle is, you probably will need to at some point come back to home base, whether it's products or services. You're going to have to be spending the time and investing in working with clients, working with the relationships that you're building out, working within your community. Because if you spend too much time away from that, you're not going to be building anything. You're going to see it deplete. You're going to see all that energy and effort you put in the first, real first founding moments, and you're just going to see that all fade away. And I think that time consumption, if you don't get that balance right, that work-life balance and that work hard, play hard, motivation side of things moving in the right direction, then it can all quickly fall apart. And I think, especially in the early stages, it is when you need to be getting into the partnership the most, investing the most amount of time, effort, and money. People like Gary Vee talk about this all the time. People, big thinkers, really just investing in sweat equity, building this dream, building this goal, and just remembering why you got into it in the first place as well, rather than thinking about this end goal of the laptop lifestyle. It's lovely, it's great, but you can do a lot more damage if you just put your heart and soul into building the business, rather than thinking about the byproduct of or the results, what it's going to lead to. I think it's important to have that in your mind and in your heart. And I think if it carries you, that's brilliant. But for me, that's not why I got into it in the first place.
No, thank you for sharing that. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Andy, Craig, Sean, nice to see you guys.
Good to see
Um,
you.
Yeah, no, this is like really good, and I'm glad that you hit on some of those topics because, like, as cliche as it
Yeah,
sounds, like it truly is. Like, you got to enjoy the journey.
got it.
Especially right now, it's like everyone kind of is on a laptop lifestyle, having to work from home, right?
Yeah.
um, what is one thing you wish someone told you before you dove into this world?
Whew, that's a great question. My goodness. I guess, when you have those hard days that it's just temporary. The sun sets and rises again, it starts and falls and stops with you. If you're not feeling it or falling in love with it anymore, then it's not the right move for you. For me, there's been great days, there's been bad days, but it's making sure that you work through those. And it's like anything, it's just having that positive relationship, being able to detach and remove yourself from the situation, maybe not getting caught up in, the moments, the poor relationships or something like that. Just really being able to switch off is a big one at the end of the day as well. That's something I'm still working on, to be honest. Again, trying to work towards, building that up and improving on myself is something that's really important to me. And that self-development piece is definitely around sort of putting it down at the end of the day. Because I certainly am the type that takes a work home with me and keeps
Mhm.
going and powers on and, that grind the hustle.
I know
It's
you might
okay
be
to stop.
scaring some people about going
Yeah.
into entrepreneurship, but
Yeah.
would you say it's worth it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, do it. You've got to form your passion. I mean, if you work 9 to 5 for someone else, you're working their dream. You're shaping their goals, which is great. And I would say get into a workplace or a space that excites you or an industry that excites you and motivates you, but use it as an opportunity to learn. Use it as an opportunity to get more information, get knowledge, get that understanding, build up your. If you're new to the game and new to the space and new to the industry, but if you're ready to take the plunge and jump in, go for it. I would say, because if you don't do it, you'll never know, and you're here once. So it is that YOLO aspect of it. I would say, as cringe as it sounds, you got to go do it. Because if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you.
No, it's so true. What would you say is your favorite part about like the laptop lifestyle or the work that you do? Kind of like
Being
all encompassing.
I certainly the travel's amazing. Like I
Hmm.
love traveling. At the minute, I can't do much of that, nor can anyone else. So it's a bit rough. And we've obviously, had the challenges there as well. Like any couple, trying to sort of make that happen.
Yeah.
So that's got its pros, that's got its cons. And I would say the other favorite part about it is just seeing the genuine satisfaction of clients, artists, customers, and making sure that they know that they're a part of something special, and they know that, and they're letting us know. And when you hear it from them, that's what it's all about. To me, it's just dream. It's a dream. It's a dream come true for sure.
Awesome. Yay. Well, I know we covered so many really good topics.
Yeah, it's been great.
I
I
did
love
want to
it.
touch on one more. So, like, going
Hmm.
back to, like, something that you said about, like, your definition of success and what that might look like, how that's different for everybody. Like, what are your tips for people trying to figure that out right now?
Figuring out success, I would say. I would just say, see what gets you motivated. I would say plan. I would say prepare, but I would say have some goals in mind that you want to try and hit on. And if you are confident in yourself and you work up to those micro goals, think of those long-term goals, and that is success in itself. If you're achieving and you're hitting on these targets that you're setting, and even if you're not, that is still a level of success. That is still a level of brilliance. So I would just say, focus on your goals, focus on your targets, make sure you're striving and doing all you can to hit those. And even if you fall short, you are succeeding in your process, in the journey, in this industry, however, whomever you see it as. And yeah, I would say it's all in the approach and how you sort of figure out what your success is as well. I would say, what do you define as success? I think figuring that out is going to be a great way of being able to then back channel and figure out, kind of reverse engineer what you need to do to reach that.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really great advice. So I hope that all of you tuning in caught that, or if you're catching the replay, because that was really good.
Sorry if I can't
um,
articulate properly.
no,
Some of
no,
these
that's
questions
really
are
good.
phenomenal, but it's like I'm like,
I got a couple more questions. So,
okay, yeah.
um, going back and talking about, just like this world of entrepreneurship, how
Hmm.
everybody thinks it's, when they look at social media, they think it's like super glamorous and, just like kind of like showing that,
Yeah.
just remembering that that is your highlight reel, right? So like, you never know what people are actually going through.
Yes.
What would you say are the top three myths about entrepreneurship and how would you debunk them?
Hmm. Oh my gosh. That's a great question. Hmm.
Put you on the spot.
I know that's such a tough question. Three myths that need debunking around entrepreneurship. Well, I would say, number one being the laptop lifestyle, and the fact of the matter is that, as much as it is about, finding, trying to get out the rat race and beating the 9 to 5, what you need to figure out that it is still work. At the end of the day, you need to put the effort in to make it happen. That is for sure. With and it's not plain sailing as well. People think, again, just getting investment funding, people, giving you guys money or throwing money at you, you think, oh, my problems are solved. That's it. Relax. That's when you turn gears up, because then other people are believing in you and your journey, and that's where you have to show up more, because there's the checks and balances there for others as well. You need to bring reports, results, successes. You need to show that to another set of eyes and ears. So I think that's another one as well. And I would say as well, like, always just remember the reasons why you got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
What are you ultimately trying to do? Are you trying to impact change? And again, people go chasing these fast business ideas, the Bitcoins. We see, these real emerging markets, and people have a lot of, people try and see the easy money. And I think, never go chasing that easy money, because what it often finds is easy money, quick, no one's making quick cash.
Right.
Quick cash equals faster losses, and things like that in my eyes. So if you're investing, slow and steady wins the race. It really does. Investing in your future, being able to just plant these seeds and just working towards them in a calculated manner, and just taking your time to build your future. Rome certainly wasn't built in a day. Everything I've ever had to work for, whether it was my degree or the business, it has taken time, and it continues to. And it's just a slow process, but you get there in the end. Patience is key.
No, that's so inspiring. Well, I'm glad that you shared that too, because I've definitely, well, this, I've been struggling with patience this year, so
I think we
it's
all
just
have,
hard, because it's just like,
yeah.
It's definitely been a very productive year though.
That's
So
it.
for like, because I'm all about like, making sure that, obviously, like, it's like eating, right? Like garbage in, garbage out. You want to
Yeah.
make sure that you are, fueling your body, and making sure that you are in good shape, and making sure that your mind is also in good shape too. I know that you listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube influencers and stuff too. Like, who are the ones that you would recommend just to continue to feed your mind with like some really good stuff?
I've really started getting into Tony Robbins. I've really started getting into Ray Dalio. I really like what Ray Dalio is talking about in terms of like smart thinking,
Have
long-term
you read this book
investments.
yet? It's really good.
No, I haven't
It's
gone
long,
into it
but
yet.
it's good.
I want to get into, what is it, the 4-hour work week and the lean startup and all of these that you've been really recommending me. So I haven't had a chance to deep dive into those yet, but that's sort of where my heart and mind's going towards and working towards. And I really like people like GC. I do like Grant and people like that, and Jordan Belfort and people like those guys, because I think like it's, and again, it's maybe a myth busted that, like, yeah, that is that is the blockbuster style entrepreneurs, but ultimately it's like, it's like, I'm running the drumstick brand, I'm the drummer, and it's figuring out, what works for you in your lifestyle, in your dreams, working towards your goals. So for me, just using that, but taking it with a pinch of salt, not taking it for gospel, taking it and going, I understand that, I appreciate that, I respect what they have to say, but I'm going to go also draw focus elsewhere as well. Ben Francis, I mean, for podcasts, he's who owns the owner and CEO of Gymshark. For what he's doing for startups in the UK, and having something that he worked for, grinded for years and years and years, and UK based startup,
he's like super young too.
Yep, yeah, absolutely inspiring. So seeing people like him and the success that has grown from that has just been absolutely amazing as well. Just different individuals like that. I'm always looking and sampling and seeing what's going on in the ether, and trying to contribute myself. I mean, we've got a lot going on over Collision that we've been trying to sort of leave our mark on and inspire others to follow suit, and whether it's the backstage or the membership or the mastermind or the sticks, there's different routes, and I think that's really exciting. But yeah, and utilizing things like planning and things like that, just putting our heart and soul on a page as well, and sticking to something. If you say you're going to do something, stick to it. Don't let people down. And again, that's something that I personally need to improve on, and something I'm focusing on, making sure that I just stick to my calendar, because all too often I will just like deviate because something else is going on, but that's the way I operate.
Yeah, I know we're going a little bit over on time, but I do want
Sorry,
to ask about that as well. So like, I'm like playing with my like little eyelash thing.
you're fine. I've just
um,
demolished
so
something
when
over
as
it.
what's that?
No, nothing. I'm just fiddling as well.
Okay, all good. So as we talk a little bit about teams, so I know that this has
Yeah.
been like a reoccurring topic for a lot of my clients personally, because there is that illusion as well that we can do it all when really we
That's
can't.
it. Get a team. My goodness, get a team. Yeah, absolutely. And that, yeah, totally. And that's probably a myth busted as well. You think you can do it all on your own. No, you can't. Get a team, because
Yeah,
that's really how you're going to be able to scale and level up. If you have team, if you're surrounding yourself with people who, can contribute, offer that new perspective, offer that new mindset, you're going to succeed. You're going to thrive, and you're also going to do it with a friend. And I think that's what it's all about. You work hard, play hard, but set boundaries as well whilst you build that team, because what you don't want to do is have friendships spilling into professional workspaces and things like that. So if you're hiring friends, family, things like that. And again,
so
it's the
true.
motions that I'm going through at the moment. And it's been really, really valuable to have that, to set those and manage those expectations.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so last question. I always love to end these Q&As with action steps. So what is the one action step you would recommend to these young professionals or small business owners to do today as it relates to, like kind of where we are right now? Like it's the end of the year. We don't have to be on
Yeah.
hustle mode. I'm probably going to change the title of this talk to Debunking the Entrepreneur Myths.
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so what is the one action step you would recommend?
To achieve the laptop lifestyle, you must. Okay. No, to debunk some of these myths, I would say reflect now. Start reflecting, figuring out what went well for the year. There are plenty of positives to look at. It's been a crummy year for everyone. We've had a pretty stressful year, not only professionally, but also personally, with so much going on at the moment, friends, family, relatives, people that matter in your life. There's a lot on our plate. Realizing what the good points of this year have been, in terms of the successes, what has gone right, whether maybe got a raise, maybe got, a new position, maybe you've started a new job, maybe you've set your own business up. Yes, that's what it's all about, entrepreneur, the hustle. And, acknowledge that success, really enjoy sharing that success. Because I think all too often we work towards a success, we don't celebrate it, and then we continue. And then what happens is the market just gets set out again. And you're never happy, because if you're chasing and always striving for more and more, you'll look
Exactly.
back and go, what was all of that for? Where's the market to say, we talked about this in reference to Everest. Those climbing, the mountain don't just go to the top. They go to the top, then they reflect, they stop, they regroup, they gather their thoughts. Right, then they move up. You might have to go back down. Might have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. So I would just say reflect on this year. Good points, bad points, personally, professionally. Chart it out, figure out what's worked well, what hasn't, to be able to grow, again, holistically as well. And then I would get your mind going for next year, 21. This is going to be a great year. Opportunities are going to be endless. The world's going to start opening up. Fingers hoping.
I know,
We
right?
pray. And yeah, start to really figure out what you want for this, the next 12 months, and set that intention. Hold yourself accountable. Get an accountability partner. I've got mine here now. It's amazing to be able to have, Monique really sharing that success and hold me accountable, because I need holding accountable. And, that is a big one for me as well. Hydrate, stay healthy, stay active, something I'm going to be focusing on a lot more in 21. And taking time out as well, because rest, recovery, you need to build that time in, because that is just key. So certainly a few points, a few takeaways, guys. But
Yeah.
I
Yep.
always, I think it's better to over deliver, because if you're not delivering value, then what's it all for?
I know, right? Well, but focus on the one thing. So if you haven't read The One Thing yet by Gary Keller, do check that out. But do check out some of the podcasts and the free resources that Carlton had shared as well. Like you don't have to go out and buy a book. Like some of these things you can find online for free. So
Oh, today there's
um,
everything everywhere.
yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for joining me on
Thank
this
you.
live today and just sharing more about your advice on this topic and stuff too, because I know that this is something that you're also super passionate about. It's not just drumsticks.
Nope.
But for people with more questions or interested in getting in touch with you or potentially even wanting to work with you as well, how can they get in touch with you?
Just reach out to me, pin comment there. My IG is at Carlton C Banks. I recently changed it, so if anyone wants to get in touch, Give me a follow. It'd be great to see you guys. It's on private at the minute, but I'll probably be switching that out as I start working at Q1 of 2021. So yeah, it'd be nice to connect with some of you guys and learn more about what we can do to help you. Email me, Carlton at collisiondrumsticks.com. Would love to connect and learn more about your passions, what motivates you, your journey. Collisiondrumsticks.com if you're in the market for drumsticks or anything like that. Not that many of, I don't know, maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe you need it for a relative, maybe you need some coaching. Come join us, we'll have a laugh. Thank you. And I want to say thanks to you, babe, as well, because it's just been, I love this, I really do.
Thank you. Well, and I just want to thank everyone for tuning in or catching the replay. And as always, please let me know your thoughts and feedback, or if you'd like me to have Carlton on again sometime. So some of you did share like, oh my gosh, you guys should talk about entrepreneurship and the laptop lifestyle. So here he is, like ask and you receive, you know, so please let me know. Any final thoughts from you, babe?
Well, I've got my laptop here, so I'm going to go live the lifestyle from the comfort of my home. But yeah, the lifestyle. Guys, just focus on yourself, you know, build, conquer, you know, and trust yourself as well. You know, you don't have to lean on others. Start by leaning and counting on yourself, because that if you don't have that, then it all falls apart anyway. So that would be my final thought. But yeah, thanks again for this, because, you know, so many of us need this at the minute. So yeah, it's really important that you keep doing these, Monique, because, you know, a lot of people get a lot of value out of these. So thank you, babe.
Of course, thank you. All right, well, I hope everyone has a safe holiday. I do have one more live coming up before the end of the year. So stay tuned for Tuesday. I'm going to be having Katie on from the UK as well. She's going to be doing a whole deep dive on social media, so you don't want to miss this.
I'll be tuning in. You better. See you soon, guys. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
See you, babe. Bye.